Virasana. So if you want to put down a blanket for padding for your knees, you may. If you need some height, take whatever amount of height you would like to have. I'm going to use a block first. Virasana. No. You're going to have to go inside. Make sure you adjust your calf flesh with your hands. You kind of roll it to the outside. And really what that is it's not so much that you're trying to move your calf flesh out of the way. That's a nice side effect. But you're really trying to roll your shin bone in. So it's the exact opposite, actually, of what we're going to do for most of the class. To roll the shin bones in, you want to be more towards the it's not so much the outer edge of the shin bone, it's more towards the midline of your shin bone as opposed to the inside edge of the shin bone. And then make sure your knees are symmetrical. Because if you've got something in the hips, sometimes one hip will be farther forward, so you can adjust that by moving your knees. And then we'll pick up each knee just a little bit. Pick up each knee just enough that you can pull the flesh and the leggings forward. And that releases a little bit of the pull in the quadriceps. But it also, you want those shin bones extending forward. And your hands in Virasana, the palms are forward and they rest back onto your heels or just your feet or the floor if you want them to be on the floor. And then the elbows roll in towards your side. So you create that opening in your chest. And you could use that pressure of your hands on the soles of your feet to help lift your torso. And when you do that, again, be mindful that you're not just pushing the lower ribs forward. Bring that tailbone slightly forward, navel back. Keep the space in the lower back. Keep these elbows in towards your sides. Bring your hands up at chest level. Slowly close your eyes. And take a nice deep breath in. Maitri Karuna Mudito Vakshanam Sukha Dukkha Punya Punya Vishayanam Bhavanantas Chitta Prasadanam Arahiyam. With an inhalation, lift up through your torso. And on an exhalation, bow your head. Surrender your head to your heart. Release your hands to your thighs, palms up. And slowly raise your head. Slowly open your eyes. Do just kind of an easy twist to the right. Easy twist to the left. And then take a dog pose. If you've got a blanket down, make sure you bring your hands forward of the blanket and your feet back beyond the blanket. This is more to just get the knees straight. Riley showing you his dog pose. And then walk your hands and feet together. And inhale. All right, you need a sturdy chair. So grab yourself a chair. You'll need a strap. All right, we're going to take the right leg up onto the chair first. And remember, if you are short in the legs, you might need to put blocks under your feet. You want this thigh to be relatively parallel to the floor. That doesn't have to be exact. If you're really tall, you might feel like you need a block underneath your foot. Right? It's entirely up to you. You just want to see that this thigh is relatively parallel so that your hips can be level, right? So you don't want to feel like there's no way of leveling the hips, right? Line up your right heel with your left arch. Make sure your left toes are pointed straight ahead and your right toes are pointed straight out to the side. Okay, and press into the inner edge of your left foot and stand up tall. Lift the left leg up towards the hip. Lift the kneecap up. Lift the quadricep up. And then go right to that dimple on your buttock and draw in right there. So you feel that left hip compact. Okay, and then the right leg, from the inner groin to the knee, we're going to lengthen. All right, so you can use your hands to apply some light pressure. Don't force it, but apply a little light pressure to the knee, inner groin to inner knee. And then like you're trying to drag your foot back, pull from the outer knee to the outer hip. So you feel a contraction happening there. You can feel the hips moving in towards each other. Take your left hand onto your hip and turn your belly away from that right leg. Turn it toward the left, but keep that light pressure on the knee so you feel that inner groin opening. Keep trying to pull that right hip in as you hold the left hip in. Move your buttocks down towards the floor and bring your navel in. Keep that space in the lower back. Okay, and then release that. Just stand in Tadasana for a moment. And then do-si-do. And come around to the other side of your chair. Stand on your right foot, take your left foot up. Line the heel up with the arch. So it's kind of a, you could say it's Parsva, you could say it's Utthita, Hasta, Padangusthasana, but we're using the support of the chair. Press into that inner edge of the right foot, and from that downward pressure, lift up. Lift the kneecap. Try to pull your quadricep muscle up towards your hip, and then grip in at that outer hip. Okay, and then lengthen that inner left groin. Knee moves slightly back, don't force it, but then try to pull your foot back. You can kind of see a change in my muscles here as I pull back and bring that outer knee to outer hip. Still lengthening here. You'll know you'll do it. You're doing it if your knee's moving back, but pull back, compact those hips. Turn the belly to the right. Tops of the buttocks down, abdomen back. That inner groin open, like the hips compact. Okay, and then release. Come to Tadasana. Don't let the chair go very far away. We'll use it again. If you can go near a wall, go near a wall. If not, you can keep your chair nearby for stability. We're focused a little bit more on the actions in these poses than trying to find the balance in these poses. So have some support today. So you can really exaggerate the action of the lifted leg as opposed to focusing so much on the standing leg. All right. Vrksasana, tree pose. You'll stand on your left leg. You'll lift your right. And when you lift that right leg, I want you to hold it there. Don't just let go of it. Bring it up and hold it. Now, feel the difference between being on the inner edge of the right foot, that's your lifted leg, and the outer edge. So roll, so the pressure on the inner thigh is more on the big toe side of your right foot. You feel how the knee comes forward, but that brings the hip forward, so you can keep the hips square to the front of the room. Now, maintain that right hip forward. You can move the hand to the right hip if you would like, and just gently hold it forward. Okay, as you start to change the pressure of the right foot to be the outer edge of the right foot. Do you feel how you can find that lengthening of the inner groin and the knee comes back? From that outer right knee, pull back into the hip. So if you push that right foot into your thigh, you can make that happen. You can contract that hip. All right, we'll give the standing leg a little love. Go to the inner edge of your left foot and lift that left kneecap up. Contract that quadricep so it pushes back into your right foot. All right, and then if you're stable in your balance, bring your arms up, Urdhva Hasta. And then exhale and release. Switch sides. Stand in just Tadasana for just a moment though. Just kind of feel the effects of that. And then right leg, bend the left. Hold that foot up there in the beginning. Even those of us with pretty good knees, right? This is a tight, tight bend of the knee. And sometimes the knee has to be coaxed into this tight bend, right? Shift that pressure to the inner edge of your left foot. Let the knee come forward. Let the hip come forward. Right? Keep that left hip forward as you shift the pressure to the outer edge of the right foot. So you feel that length coming in the inner groin. Tighten up that right leg and push the left foot into the right leg to compact the hip. And you can let go of the shin bone. And if you feel steady, bring the arms up, Urdhva Hasta in Vrksasana. Exhale, release, stand in Tadasana. All right, grab a strap. We're going to start in Virasana, but I want you to have a strap around your foot. So this is where being next to the wall is nice, because you can lean against the wall, put the strap around the right foot, and then come up to Virasana. Find that pressure on the inner edge of your left foot. Lift up the left kneecap, outer left hip in. Okay, keep that right hip forward, but roll more to the outer edge of your foot on the right side. Buttocks down, abdomen up. Now you're going to maintain this Vrksasana shape, but you're going to lift the knee towards the ceiling. So it's like you're back in that chair, your foot's back on the chair, but it's a much steeper angle. And as you push down into the strap, pull up onto the strap, and feel that outer knee to outer hip. Femurs in. Okay, now maintain that. This is hard. This is a very subtle action, but keep the feeling of the leg bone moving towards the hip as you straighten the knee for Parsva, Utthita, Hasta, Padangusthasana. Okay, and then bend the knee back down to Vrksasana and release. Good. Strap around the left foot. Come to Vrksasana. Press into the inner edge of the right foot and tighten up that right quadricep. You feel the muscle of the quadricep push into the foot. You gotta make a nice tight connection there. Pressurize the outer edge of your foot and make that inner groin open, but keep the left hip forward. Now, lift the knee, sole of the foot parallel to the floor. Your arm is in the way. It kind of helps to push the thigh back. Turn your belly away from your left leg. Press down into the strap of your foot as you pull up. Make that outer knee move to the outer hip and maintain that as you straighten the legs. You're reaching out to the inner edge of the leg and you're reaching back from the outer foot to the hip. Woo, I'm losing it. And then bend your knee, come back to Vrksasana, and set the foot down. Take your strap, just put it around your neck to begin with, and I'll show how to use the strap, because I think everybody in here can use the strap. But for this first one, let's just see where we're at. We're going to take Ardha, Padmottanasana. We're going to start just with putting the leg into Padmasana. All right, so this is where, just watch, Vrksasana, and then bending the knee, taking the buttocks to the wall creates a little shelf here. Important that you go behind the leg, not in front, behind, and on top of the foot. So the shin bone rolls down towards the floor. That way, as opposed to back towards you. Then you can get that foot into the shelf. You can hold it with your hand and stand up. All right, so let's all get to there. Virasana first. That gets the knee bent. And then you come under the foot, behind the ankle, roll that top of the foot into the hip crease. And then you can hold it as you stand up. Now reach from that inner groin to the inner knee. Take the knee down towards the floor. You feel how your buttocks want to go back behind you? Take the buttocks down towards the floor and lift your abdomen up. Try to push the foot into the thigh and take the knee back by lengthening that inner groin. See what happens if you let go of the foot. See if it stays. It may not. If it slips down, that's fine. We're going to the other side. All right, and then come back to Virasana and Tadasana. All right, left leg, Virasana. Go behind, bend, come back and lean against the wall if you like. Go under the foot, roll that shin bone out. That foot up into the hip crease. Susanna, don't bring your foot so far across. I have Susanna and I have Suzanne. So Susanna, yeah, there you go. And then stand up. Reach that inner groin down towards the floor. Take the buttocks down and lift the abdomen as best you can. See, can you push that foot? This one, no, it doesn't always want to stay for me. Push that foot into the thigh as you lengthen the inner groin to take the knee back. And come back to Vrksasana. And then release. All right, we're going to try that one more time. We'll do David Maloney's strap trick. You want to tighten the strap so that if it's your right foot on your left leg, when you pull, you're tightening the foot into the leg, right? So you're going to be lifting your right leg first. So you're going to take your strap over your torso. Make sure that it pulls back to the left and it's loose. This is where baggy bloomers beat tight leggings. They hold that strap in place. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to tuck that foot. My technique may be bad here in the middle of the room. I'm going to just tuck this foot into the strap. And then I can tighten it. Okay, and it gives you a little shelf, but it also does that foot back into the thigh action. So you can stand up and release the foot. All right, let's try. So start with Vrksasana. Stand on your left. Bring the right leg to Vrksasana. Be in Vrksasana for a moment. Be a tree. Then come behind that ankle, under the foot, and roll that foot into Padmasana. And then you can take your strap and kind of strap the foot to the thigh. So it's both being held there with pressure back into the thigh, but then it also just creates a little shelf. You just kind of hang your toes over it. Pressurize that inner edge of the left foot and lift the left kneecap. From the inner right groin, reach down towards the floor. So you're taking the knee straight down. You're going to feel something. You're in the front of the inner groin there. From the outer right knee, lift up towards the hip. Buttocks down, abdomen in. And then if you feel steady, you remember your foot is strapped to your thigh. So you've got to have stability here. Take your arms up. This is sometimes referred to as Vrksasana 2. It's not in the book. All right, and then exhale, release. Take the strap off of your foot. Vrksasana. And Tadasana. Now you have to take the strap off and turn it around to do the other foot. Okay, second side. Be firm on your right leg. Lift your left leg for Vrksasana. Remember, this just gets the knee positioned. It starts to turn the thigh. All right, and then come behind the ankle, under the foot, roll the top of the foot into the hip crease. And then you can take the strap and buckle it over the foot. Pressurize the inner edge of your right foot and lift your right kneecap up. From the inner left groin, reach down to the knee. So you feel that that knee moves back. More rotation comes in the thigh when you lengthen that inner groin. Compact that right hip in, and on the left side, outer knee to outer hip. Take the buttocks down, abdomen in. And then with an inhalation, if you're steady, bring the arms up, Urdhva Hasta. And then exhale, release, unstrap the foot. Vrksasana. And Tadasana. Grab your chair again. Now you don't really need to strap the foot when we bend forward, but if you want to do that strapping of the foot, you may. I'm going to shift my orientation so you can see what I'm doing. We're just going to take kind of a supported Ardha Padmottanasana. We're not going to bind. All right, so I just have my chair out there, and let's see, we can do the same side together now. So right leg will come to Vrksasana, and then it will come to Padmasana, right? And then we're going to come forward. Okay. And if you want to stay at the concave back position, you can stay at the concave back position. If you want to walk your hands down the chair legs and take your head to the seat of the chair, you can do that as well. All right, so let's work through all those actions. Stand on your left leg and bring your right leg to Vrksasana. You can use the wall behind you still to get in there. More concerned that you're finding a really good pose as opposed to, can you do this while you're standing on one foot? Roll the shin bone out, roll the top of the foot to the inner groin, and then you can strap it or you can hold it to stand up. You see how much my buttocks want to go back and my lumbar wants to arch, so the buttocks have to move down, the abdomen has to come in. Okay, and then come forward. Be firm on the inner edge of your right foot. Reach from your inner left groin to your knee. And from that outer left, let's see, it's your right foot, it's your right leg. From the outer right knee, kind of lift up. So you don't want that right hip to drop. You want the hips to stay level. Press your right foot into your thigh and reach your sternum bone forward. Okay, and then those of you that want to go down, probably everybody in this crowd, come down to rest your head. Reach from that inner groin to inner knee. Outer right knee to outer right hip. Okay, and then bring the hands back onto the chair. You can bend your knee, come to the wall, release the foot, and set the foot down. All right, second side. Stand on the right, lift the left. Then come behind the ankle, under the foot, roll the top of the foot to the hip crease. And stand up, come forward. Still be firm on that inner right foot and still lift that right kneecap up. Inner left groin to inner left knee. So the knee isn't staying forward, it's going back. Outer left knee to outer hip. So you don't let that left hip drop. Press that left foot into the thigh and reach your sternum bone forward. Find that concavity in the back. And then down you go. Take your forehead down. Hands can stay on the legs of the chair or they can go all the way to the floor. It's entirely up to you. And then bring the hands back to the seat of the chair. Bend the knee. Vrksasana with that left leg. And up. Chair. We need the chair. Let me tip my camera down a little bit. You need some height, a stack of blankets, a bolster, something. And that just goes out in the front. And then you sit out on the edge of the chair. So you ought to be able to clear the blankets if you sit out on the edge of the chair. And let's take the right ankle onto the left knee. and just pulse. And this isn't the first time for most of you to do this. So you know, in these particular poses here, you work to your capacity. You don't force beyond your capacity. All right, so if your knee is staying really high, then you've got to figure out whether you're going to move forward or if you're just going to stick with the pulsing. Okay, now come under the shin, come under the foot, roll that shin out as you slide the foot up to the hip. So you're in an Ardha Padmasana shape. Okay, now I'm going to, with my hands, I actually found making fists is what felt the best for me. You can grab the sides of the chair. I'm just going to lift my buttocks up and lengthen this inner groin and see, can I take that knee down toward my bolster? Doesn't necessarily have to touch it, right? It's there as kind of a measuring stick, all right? So you just lift up, lengthen that inner groin. So you're aiming to feel like you felt when we were standing in the Ardha Padmottanasana. And you just lift up, take the knee down, lengthen the inner groin. Lengthen the inner groin. Okay, do that a few times on each side. Then you slide the foot back out. And you switch sides. Right, left ankle onto the right knee, pulse. Sit up tall as you do that, because you notice the stretch goes away if you slump. Right, that's why we do that piriformis stretch laying down, because then you can't slump. Pulse that knee. Okay, and then under the ankle, under the foot, roll the shin bone out and slide that foot up into the hip crease, Padmasana. You can pulse a couple of times here. And remember, the action is to lengthen that inner groin, right? So you lift up, come off the chair just a little bit, and then take the knee down. And you just do that 4 or 5 times. Lengthen the inner groin. The hips do turn. They don't stay square here. Finally, I don't have to keep my hips square. Right, and then come back to sit on the chair. Slide that foot out. And take the foot down. Okay, now you can stay with this if that level of intensity was good for you. Okay, or we're going to move on. We'll have the chair again, so don't put the chair away. Just move it off to the side. I'm going to make a bolster out of my blanket. So those of you that don't have a bolster, you're just going to fold your blanket. If you've got a bolster, you can use the bolster. And then once you get that set up, you're just going to put the bolster horizontally on your mat. And then come and watch, because you'll be laying down on your back. Make sure we're all on the same page. My feet have to be able to go up onto the bolster, so I'm not laying down super close to the bolster. There's a gap between me and my blankets. We're going to start with the leg, ankle on the knee, just like we did, pulse, right? Then we're going to slide that foot into place, into the Padmasana place. And then I'm going to push into my foot on the bolster. You can hold the mat, you can press your palms into the floor and lift up like you're doing Padmasana. Take the tailbone in and up, and then lengthen that inner groin and dip the knee down onto the blanket. All right, tailbone up, dip the knee, come back down. All right, let's try that. Right ankle onto the left knee. Pulse a few times here. Have some movement. Right, a little mobility will help with your flexibility there. And then behind the shin, under the foot, roll the shin bone out and bring that leg into Padmasana. Now don't focus on taking the knee down straight away. All right, instead focus on taking the buttocks up, the tailbone up. So you're coming into kind of a Padasana with one leg in Padmasana. Okay, and then keep that tailbone up. Take the inner groin to the inner knee and dip the knee down. Maybe it touches the bolster, maybe it doesn't. Just go to your capacity, right? And do that 4 or 5 times. Press into the left foot, tailbone up, buttocks away from the waist, lengthen the inner groin, touch and come down. Up, touch, come down. Really feel those buttocks moving in. Tailbone in, like you're in a back bend. Right, and after you've done 4 or 5, slide the foot back out, and then both feet onto the bolster. And we have 2 legs, so let's do the left ankle on the right knee. Pulse a few times, big pulses, a lot of motion. All right, and then under the ankle, under the foot, roll the shin bone out, come to Padmasana. If nothing else, is the Padmasana getting easier? Press into your right foot, lift your tailbone up, and then inner groin to inner knee, come down. I texted my sister-in-law, and she's like, no more Padmasana. I can't do it. Buttocks up, buttocks away from the waist. Lengthen that inner groin to bring the knee down. 4 or 5 times of that. And when you're finished, come down, slide the foot out, take both feet onto the bolster, and then let's just straighten the legs. Let the legs rest onto the bolster. Oh my goodness, if I just stopped there, it'd be a pretty good class, wouldn't it? Take a few breaths. Soften your abdomen. Notice what you're feeling back there in the hips. Might be a different sensation than what you're used to. I'll refrain from saying good or bad. Now, bend your knees, roll to your side. Remember, if any of that was super challenging, or if any of that just really felt delightful and you want to repeat being on the chair or repeat laying on the floor, do that. Okay, we're going to now attempt a first stage of Vatayanasana. So you need padding for the knee. You need your chair. Actually, the chair is optional. I need the chair. I'm going to take some height for my buttocks. Okay, and then you can watch here. I'm going to take my right leg into Vrksasana or Padmasana since we're sitting down. Wait a second, I got to be up on my height. There we go. So come into a Vrksasana shape with my right leg, and then I'll bring that into Padmasana. So I'm just lifting the foot to the height of my navel and bringing the knee slightly forward. Okay, so here is a stage. All right, this might be as far as you want to go. It's more of a Virasana 2 stage. All right, I'm going to lean over so this right knee touches the floor. Okay, and then I'm going to bend my left knee up. So you see how high the left hip comes? It does. You may, if you'd like, Suzanne and I discovered this in practice, fold this blanket to put some height under your heel if you would like. Okay, and then I'm going to take that right knee to the floor. Stand up. Ardha, Baddha, Padmottanasana. Okay, and then I'll start to come up. The buttocks are flying backwards, the lumbar spine is moving forward, so I have to focus as I stand up on taking the buttocks down and the abdomen back. Okay? And then sit back down. See, mine's getting better. This is the 4th time this week. It's getting better. Let's see what yours is like. I think for most of you, this is at least the 2nd time. All right, we'll do the right side first. Your knee gets little rug burns on it. This is where India cotton blankets are nicer than these Mexican blankets. All right, take that right leg into Padangusthasana, or it feels kind of like a seated Vrksasana. Okay, and then come under the ankle, under the foot. Just lift the foot up so the heel's in line with your navel. Right, and as you roll that shin out, bring the knee forward, the foot into the hip crease. Now lean to your right side and take that right thigh, right knee down. The left hip will lift up, and then see, can you get that left knee to bend? Now, final pose, the foot is right next to the knee, okay? Don't worry about that today. All right, the foot can be off to the side, it can be turned out, it can be forward, whatever's comfortable. Okay, and then if this is not the death of you, then hoist yourself up, lengthen that inner groin and take the knee down. And if you stay in kind of a forward position initially, it's not quite as bad. And some of you may want to just stay here. This may be your you may be more of a pony than a horse today. Okay? And then as you start to stand up, it's going to be very tempting to let the buttocks fly back and the navel move forward. Don't get into that habit. Buttocks down, navel back as you come up. And if you can release your hands, you can release the hands. Whoa. Garudasana with the arms, the right arm would be on the bottom. It's hard to remember right from left. All right, and then lower yourself back down, straighten that left leg. Oh my goodness, this is one of those poses where you're asking, why are we doing this? Well, you'll see why. Left leg, Vrksasana. Come from behind, roll the shin. Well, first lift the foot up and then roll that shin bone down, bring your knee forward. Padmasana. Take that left leg down and then you'll bend the right leg. We're going to explore Virasana too a little bit more next week. But know that this is it right here. Okay, and then lengthen the inner groin. Take the knee down. You can stay in the forward bend. Okay, and then as you come up, let those buttocks descend away from the waist. Draw your navel back. So you're coming up. Now the right hip's quite a bit higher than the left hip. That is true. All right, but you're not arching the lower back. You're finding space in that lower back. And on this side, it would be the left arm is on bottom, the right arm is on top, and you'll come to Garudasana. I just don't have that balance yet. And then release. Sit down, straighten the leg. Vrksasana. All right. You got to do it twice. Once is not enough. You can go back to laying on the floor or sitting in the chair if you want. All right, but we're going to try it one more time because the second time is always better. All right, bend the right leg, Vrksasana. Come behind, lift the heel up and roll that shin bone out. Bring it to Padmasana. Lean into that left leg or right leg and bend the left. Right, and then you have to lift up, lengthen, inner groin to inner knee. Think about that standing version that we did. Now walk your left foot around so that you can feel the toes and the heels are down. Let it come forward, let it go out to the side, let it stabilize. Turn the toes out if you need to. Yep, and then as you stand up, buttocks down, abdomen in. There went one pony over. Right arm is on bottom, left arm is on top. Virasana, can't hold it, and then come down. This might be the hardest week of Padmasana. Get it done the first of the week, the first of the month. Vrksasana, left foot. Roll the shin bone, roll the foot. Lift the knee, and then you just bring, or you lift the foot, and then you bring the knee forward. Keep that knee down as you bend the right knee up. So that right hip stays up. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Lengthen that inner left groin and take the knee down. Come to the forward bend position. Take a couple of breaths. And stabilize that right foot. Try to position it so that you can really be on both the inner and the outer edge, and try to have your toes and your heels down. You can tuck the blanket if you need to. And then as you come up, buttocks down, abdomen back. That's where the intensity comes in that front groin. Okay, and then left arm is on bottom, right arm is on top, Virasana. Good. And then release. Come down, straighten right leg, drop the foot to Vrksasana. And then straighten the left leg. And then rub your knees. They hurt. All right, we are done with the chair, so you can push the chair out of the way. We're going to do a little seated work and now try to go to the full Padmasana. Which maybe won't be so bad after this really tough work. If you need height under your buttocks when you sit, then take height. If you don't need height, then don't take height. Sit in Padangusthasana. And take your legs wide to Utthita. Okay, when you do that, feel how you're very much on the back edge of your sit bones. So you have to lift your buttocks up, tilt your pelvis slightly forward. So you come a little bit more to the front edge of the sit bone. That does two things. It helps you continue to have the legs neutral. They're not really turned in, but they're definitely not turned out. It also makes it a little easier to sit up tall. Press your thighs down and extend through the inner edges of your feet. Okay, and then you're going to take your right leg, and just like we've been doing all this time, you're going to bend it so it looks Padangusthasana-like. Feel how your weight kind of shifts to one side or the other. If your knee is down, your weight shifts to the bent knee side. If your knee is up, it might shift more to the straight leg. Try to balance that in the hips, and then inner groin to inner knee to bring that knee down. Sit up nice and tall. All right, then we're going to roll that foot to Siddhasana. Come under the ankle, under the foot, and just roll the shin bone down towards the floor. So the heel is in line with the perineum. And here again, level the hips. And now the angle of this left leg really kind of depends on your hips. All right, I'm going to take mine from this angle to 45-degree angle or so. And I'm going to pick up from the underside of the shin and the foot and bring that knee forward and let the foot rest onto the thigh. All right, so the more forward the knee comes, the closer to Padmasana that you come. But if the knee doesn't come all the way forward, if the foot just kind of comes to the inner thigh, that's still a version of Padmasana. It's Kamalasana. So you can celebrate our vice president, Kamalasana. All right, don't worry if the knee doesn't come all the way forward. Bend the left leg. See where you're at. Okay, if the knee's resting on the foot, then you can attempt the final pose. All right, you take that left foot forward. You get this knee to come down. You can lean forward to do it. And then you roll the shin bone out and pull the foot into Padmasana. If it doesn't come, just stay in the half. Keep the knee on the ankle. All right, everybody can interlace the fingers and take the arms up for Parvatasana. This feels nice in the back, especially all that asymmetry of the Vatayanasana. Bend the elbows, interlace the fingers the opposite way, press the heels of the hands up. Then bring the arms down and release. I forgot to have you get blocks. So free the legs, straighten the knees, and then grab a couple of blocks. Have one on either side of you. Because I mean, if we're here, we might as well pull asana ourselves. All right, so you just have your blocks on either side. Take the legs wide for Utthita. I know we do this every time we work Padmasana. You have to be patient to do the work. Bend the left leg, Baddha. Sit up nice and tall. You've got your blocks there. You can use your blocks under your hands to help you shift your weight. Remember the hips, you want to try to keep the hips level here. So if you shift to the bent knee, keep that left thigh moving down or right thigh moving down. If you shift to the other side, then you have to work the bent knee side down. All right, Siddhasana. So you're not changing anything, you're just rolling the top of the shin and the top of the foot down towards the floor. The angle of the thigh stays the same. Siddhasana. Okay, and then bring your right leg forward some amount so the thigh is there. Come under, lift the heel up, and then bring the knee forward to your capacity. Bend the right leg and let that foot be the support. Okay, if the Ardha stage is not a problem, if that left knee is dropping hip or below, then you can walk that right foot forward, roll the shin bone out, slide the foot in. Interlace your fingers, Parvatasana. Press the feet into the thighs, tailbone slightly forward, navel back. This was really good in the lower back. Bend the elbows, opposite cross of the fingers. Okay, and then release, find your blocks. Tolasana. Okay, I'm gonna lift up my knees. All right, and then as I press into my hands, I'll take my hips back and lift up. Lift your knees, Kat. There you go. All right, and then release the legs. Straighten the knees. All right. Take a quick Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog pose. It will feel really kind of easy. Let your thighs turn in for just a moment. Take your heels way out, toes in. Let there be a little bit of an internal rotation feeling. Abdomen still in, lengthen the back. Okay, and then walk your hands and feet towards each other and come up. We're going to work on Urdhva Padmasana in Sarvangasana. So I'm going to set up my Sarvangasana so that my head is over here, my feet are over there. Okay, let me lift my camera just a wee bit. So you do need a wall for this piece here. I need my blankets. Now you'll take your bottom edge of your blanket, you'll fold it halfway up, or sorry, the bottom edge of your mat, fold it halfway up. So you've got half mat, half blanket, and then take the tail of your mat and fold it so it touches where the edges of the blankets are. So it's about the length of a long block. All right, and then you're going to drag that to the wall. Okay, drag that right up against the wall. And then come to your screen and watch. Some of you that have already done this this week, and you don't feel like you need to do the feet on the wall part, you don't have to. You can go straight to the straight legs if you want. But I think it's nice work here. Right, feet are on the wall, get the arms well tucked, okay, and then it goes back to that Vatayanasana. These buttocks have to come forward, right? Don't let them be dropping back behind you. Make those buttocks come forward. You can come up onto your toes, all right, and then we'll take one leg. You'll do your right side first. I'm going to do my left. You'll bring it into the best tree pose that you can. Tailbone forward. Lengthen the inner groin. You'll bring it into the best Padmasana that you can, tailbone forward, lengthen the inner groin. Okay, and if that's all you're comfortable with, you can stop there, but you may, left leg, right arm, reach up and catch that foot and pull it to Padmasana. Okay, and then you can stay with the bent knee. All right, so you're in half Padmasana. If you want, you can bring the hands onto the back and bring that right leg up. All right, and then see, can you bring that right leg into Padmasana? You can use the left hand to pull the foot in. Okay, those of you that don't feel like you need to have the foot on the wall to get the first leg in, you can just have the leg up in the air. Okay, I'm going to come down and I'll talk you through it all. I'll watch and provide some pointers. If anybody is not going to do the shoulder stand, you can do a Setu Bandha on the block. Setu Bandha on the block. All right, start by getting yourself into a good Sarvangasana, either with your legs straight or your toes on the wall. Lift your hips, tuck, 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 tuck your arms. If the feet are on the wall, bend the knees some more. Bend your knees, there you go. And you might be too far from the wall, Susanna. You're way more than a shin bones distance from the wall. Drag your mat all the way up against the wall. All right, take your right leg into the best Vrksasana that you can. It may not go all the way up to the root of the thigh. That's okay. But now have that Urdhva Padmasana action. Bring your tailbone forward and reach from the inner right groin to the inner right knee. Move the right knee back. Okay, now bring that right leg into the best Padmasana that you can. Without your hand, just best Padmasana that you can. Tailbone forward, lengthen the inner groin. Yes, better, Susanna. Yes, 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 yes. Now you can use your left hand, come to the top of your foot, so you roll the shin bone out, and you can pull that right foot up into the hip. Yes. Now, bring your hands onto your back like you're in full Sarvangasana. And those of you that want to can take and extend that left leg up to the ceiling. Tailbone in and reach from your inner right groin to your inner right knee. Make that right knee move back. Okay, now you can bend the left knee, turn the leg out, and try to come into full Padmasana, or you could just bend the knee like into a Virasana. Okay, now if you are close, good Jackie. If you are close, you can reach up with your right hand and pull that left knee in. And then tailbone in, reach from your inner groin to your knees. Take your knees up towards the ceiling, Susanna. There you go. All right, now release the left leg. Release the right leg. Take your feet back to the wall. Retuck your arms. It's hard to keep the arms tucked when you let the hand go to catch the foot. So retuck your arms and let's try it on the left. Bend the left knee, put it into the best Vrksasana that you can. Okay, and then tailbone forward, lengthen the inner groin. Jackie, that's your right leg. Did you do the left the first time? Okay. All right, now bring it into the best Padmasana that you can. Marie-Claire, you got a cramp. Okay, so now you see what your best Padmasana is. Tailbone in, lengthen the inner groin. Okay, now you can reach up with your right hand and roll the shin bone. Pull that foot, bring it up into the hip crease. Get your arms behind you, back into the Sarvangasana position. Tailbone in, and if you have that stability, take the right leg straight up. Yes, tailbone in, lengthen that inner left groin. Okay, now let the right leg turn out, bend the knee, and see, can you bring the foot over the shin bone? Padmasana. If you can't, you can bend the knee and keep it like in Virasana. You're close, Cassie, you'll get there. You can reach up with your left hand, pull that right foot in. And then tailbone in, knees up towards the ceiling. It's quite a delightful feeling. Okay, and then release the right, straighten the right, release the left, straighten the left. Be just in a Sarvangasana for a moment. You can take your feet to the wall to help you get adjusted, and then just be in Sarvangasana for a couple of breaths. All right, now you are at the wall, so please use the wall to come out. Take your feet to the wall. Carefully lower your hips. Erica, yeah, it looks like your hips are down. Scoot towards your head, so your head and shoulders are both on the floor, and just rest for just a moment. And then slowly roll to your side. Slowly sit up. Let's open up the mats with the short edge of the mat to the wall. Have a strap. I don't know what length you need in your strap. I have mine doubled. That's enough length for me. We're just going to lay flat on our back. Move the buttocks away from the waist and come into an Urdhva Padasana with the strap around the feet. So it's kind of like the legs up the wall, but with that strap, you can really pull down and bring the femurs into the hip socket. We're just trying to kind of reset the lower back a little bit.
I hate to say reset, it sounds like we threw it out, but everything we did early on in the class was very asymmetrical. So we're just trying to be symmetrical here for a moment. Pull your abdomen in, see if you can flatten the lower back onto the floor. Okay, and then bend your knees. You can release the strap. Grab your shin bones and pull your shin bones towards your head as you try to roll the tailbone and roll the sacrum down flat onto the floor. Padangusthasana. You can do a little rock from side to side if you like. And then set both feet down onto the floor. Scoot towards the wall so you can put your feet on the wall. We're going to take Supta Padangusthasana 1. All right, so find that midline between the feet. Press the heels into the wall and let the mat grab the buttocks and the shoulders. Right, and then bend your right knee in towards your chest. You can use the strap or you can grab your foot. Straighten the right leg straight up towards the ceiling, maybe a little bit towards your head. Press into the inner edge of both feet. Tops of the thighs to the backs of the thighs, or fronts of the thighs to the backs of the thighs. Turn that inner right elbow towards your head so you feel the shoulder blade move towards the waist. And then to your capacity, bring the right shoulder all the way down to the floor. Try to straighten your right leg completely so you get a good hamstring stretch here. You can give yourself as much slack on the strap as you need, but straighten the leg. Just take a few breaths and just wait. With the strap, really pull down on the heel so you feel that femur come into the socket. You might even feel a little bit of a shift in the pelvis. You want to feel the right side of your pelvis come down. And the left side, it doesn't really lift up so much as just the sides of the pelvis become level with each other. Okay, and then bend the right knee, release the strap, straighten that right leg. Realign your feet. Press into the wall if you need to, or bend the knees and press. And then bend the left knee, take the strap around the left heel. And again, straighten that leg completely up towards the heel. Extend through the inner edges of both feet. Fronts of the thighs to the backs of the thighs. Straighten the knees completely. Turn that inner left elbow towards your nose. Feel that shoulder blade want to move more towards the waist. And then to your capacity, pull that left shoulder all the way down to the floor. Pull down on the strap or the foot to bring that femur into the socket. Feel that your pelvis is level from the right to the left. And then bend the left knee, release the strap, straighten the left leg. And then just one last time, bend both knees in towards your chest. Take the strap around your heels and straighten the legs. Just 90 degrees is all you need. A little Urdhva Prasarada Padasana again. If the hamstrings are not happy, you can be a little less than 90 degrees. That's fine too. Just draw the navel down towards the floor. Feel that lower back lengthen and spread. And bend your knees in towards your chest. Pull the shin bones towards your head as you roll the sacrum down to the floor. And then set the feet down. Roll to your side if you need to get yourself a blanket. And you can do what you feel like you need to do here. If you want to fold a couple of blankets to put underneath your knees, you can do that. If you want to throw a bolster under your knees, you want to just be flat, it's your Shavasana. My one rule is something soft behind your head. You can support however you would like. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. Make any adjustments that you need to make. And then begin by letting the arms and legs completely let go. Soften your abdomen. Soften your throat. Release your jaw. Soften and quiet your inner ears. Soften and still your eyes. Relax your facial muscles, your forehead, and the crown of your head. If you'd like to stay in Shavasana, please do. Otherwise, on an inhalation, bend your elbows, rest your palms onto your torso. Then one knee and then the other. Reestablish the ground under your feet. And slowly and carefully roll to your side. Keep your head as still as possible. Press with your arms to come up. Head low, eyes closed. Take a moment to thank yourself for coming to class, continuing your practice. And slowly raise your head
And slowly open. Have a lovely rest of the weekend. Good to see all of you.